3, 2, 1. It's go time. Welcome to the show. It's go time. This is the ultimate podcast for salespeople and sales managers who are in the trenches in the final expense life insurance industry. People that got to talk to somebody to make a sale. And back as always, we got the Croatian Tiger, our technology and video genius. Thanks for always being here. And he's hot in the field as well. He is hot. He had his first 10K deposit month, which is pretty sweet. Awesome milestone. And it only goes up from there, baby. And back from Greece, afaristo. It's the only Greek word I know. It means thank you. Welcome back, Dylan. Win, no matter what. Our co-host. What's going on, man?
I still don't know any Greek words, but it was awesome being there.
Only there a week.
Great to be back.
And we don't. Well, Greek is a tough language, man. Nothing seems
I didn't
to
even
be
try, dude.
Similar.
They were trying to say, I don't even know say hi. Yeah,
it took me a week to get afaristo, and they say it with their chest, afaristo. That means thank you. So, anyways, how was the trip, man?
Dude, it was awesome, honestly. What I've realized is that I need to schedule more time off when I'm switching time zones because it took like 2 years, not 2 years, 2 days, 2 days to switch over my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
And then 2 days back, or I actually felt like a week because I was so screwed up mentally.
Went across the world, man.
Yeah, man. And you can see on the Whoop, I had like 1% recovery on the plane. And then I think I had like 5% on the way back. So took me a while to readjust. So
that's how you learn. We make adjustments.
It was worth it.
So we got a good. Glad you're back, bro.
Thanks,
glad
man.
you're back.
Glad
All
to
right.
be back.
So so we got a good episode today. This is gonna be a two-parter, and this is about emotional control. Right? Do you agree that our emotions and our attitude matter when we're selling?
I think it's one of the biggest things you have to have in control is your emotions. Because you can be the best in the business, but if you can't hold yourself like into a nice steady emotion per house, per call, then you might just blow up on yourself, on someone, and then you're gonna just either run away or you're just gonna blow up on someone. It's just the worst thing you can do.
100%. Our attitude.
I'm a little nervous being back if you can't tell.
Hey, we're back, baby. We're back. Hey, no, I mean, I think our emotions and our attitude, like you said, are one of the most important things. And look, man, this is my 11th year doing it. And the last couple of weeks have sucked emotionally in the field. I've allowed my emotions to get in my way. I've allowed the frustration of clients or frustration of just things that happen in life and just it can destroy you out in the field. Right. And so we got some good strategies and tactics and thought processes and things that you can take with you to help with your emotional control. So we're going to put it into two different buckets. One bucket is going to be this episode, and that's in the moment. Okay, look, nothing feels like it's going your way. You feel like a bag of trash. You don't have any confidence. Your self-esteem is not where it wants to be. You're just not operating the way you want to, right? Like, who wants to walk around and try to sell people or just walk around in life all mopey dopey? Right? Looking inwardly all sad or mad or pissed off, or looking outwardly in the same way. So one bucket's going to be in the moment. The other bucket's going to be preventative, right? Because you can't do some of the things, and you'll find out what we're talking about here as the podcast progresses. But some things you can do in the moment that are going to help, and then some things you can do preventative, right, to help as well. Similarly to athletes, it's if you got a pulled hammy, stretching doesn't really help too much in the moment. It doesn't make it go away right away. But stretching before, that's a preventative measure. So we got different strategies and tactics to help you out with the emotional control. And we'll start with this one. It's not once you figure this out, you're good forever. Sometimes we have this thought process of I just need to figure it out. Well, then that sets the expectation that, okay, great. So once you get it solved, you're going to be 100% emotionally controlled for the rest of your life. Let's go ahead and take that standard away, because that's just not going to happen. Can it last for a season? Sure. Can it last for a few hours? Definitely. Can it last for a day? Could it last for a week? Could it last for several weeks, maybe even a month, maybe even a quarter? Yes, but we're human beings and things happen. And so it kind of messes with our emotional control. I heard, what's his name? Joe Rogan talk about this. He's like, it's unfair. This is not a direct quote, but he's like something about like it's an unfair expectation that like, we're just going to be happy all the time. Right. It's also an unfair expectation that we're going to be sad all the time. Right. So we're human beings. We're supposed to experience
That's why
emotions.
they call it pursuit of happiness.
Pursuit.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's on the Constitution, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. It's because happiness is never fully obtained. It's the chase that gives us happiness. And it's just like the law of physics. You know, if there's a push, there's a pull. If there's happiness, there's sadness. You have to figure out how to balance your way to go through it to even figure out how happiness works.
And that's going to transcribe into your sales. That's going to transcribe. It's weird because isn't it interesting that when you get your emotions, when you're feeling good, isn't it interesting that better things happen out in the field? You know, you talk to more people, you talk to more qualified people, you talk to, it seems like more buyers when your attitude's up. So isn't it interesting? Just look back on your career, listeners, and think about some of your best weeks that you had out in the field. It's like, I bet you were vibing, right? I bet you had some good energy, and think back on your worst weeks. I bet you weren't vibing. I bet our energy and our thought processes weren't the most positive. So we're going to be talking about stuff. So in the moment and then preventative. So today it's in the moment, but we got to set the standard. It's like, look, man, once you figure this out, it may just last a little while. So you got to continually work on these things. I'm 11 years in and I still beat myself up out in the field. So at least for me, if you're looking for somebody to tell you exactly how to solve your emotional control for the rest of your life, this is not the episode, but this can help you. This can help you. Yeah. I don't know if anybody has. If they have, at least
send it our way. Might
be a fibber fox. So, all right. So Dylan, in the moment, you're pissed off. Right? You're frustrated. You've got client after client that's not making any sense. They said, man, I really want to do this. And then you get to the end and they're like, yeah, I really don't want to do this. And whatever the way our clients say it, I got to think about it. I got to, oh, now's not the right time. And you just can't get them over the hump. And then it's over and over and over again. Then you get a call from your teammate. Hey man, I'm having the worst week of my career, man. And you help that teammate. Then you get a call from home. And it's like, hey man, Dylan, you're not being good enough family man. And then you get a call from another teammate, dude, this is the worst day of my career, dude. Listen to this. So all this stuff. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah, it was just last week.
There you go. It happens.
I just called him last week about this.
So there's all kinds, especially if you're a manager, you add weight of other people, which is fine. That's what we do. But that's a lot sometimes. And sometimes when it rains, it pours, good or for bad. And so you're in that moment. You're like, screw this, man. This is not what I signed up for. This is not why I'm doing this. This sucks. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. What do you do in the moment to just get your energy just a little bit better or a lot of bit better to where you can refocus and keep going?
Usually when I feel a lot of stress and I'm in a state where my emotions just kind of skyrocketing everywhere, it felt like everything's like pouring on me. I usually take that as like a very big frustration. I feel a lot of shame. So I take that as an attack, right? And I'm very hard on myself. But what helps me keep moving the field, like it was Tuesday. I had a lot of stuff going on. Like I had to stop working because we just moved.
Yep, moving
and everything.
Big stressor.
What everything Pat said is pretty spot on. I was stressed.
We haven't even talked.
Yeah, I haven't even talked. I haven't even made the deal.
But it happens.
And
these are normal things.
What kept me going is that I had to be hard on the effort, but be soft on myself. Because we're all human. We all make mistakes. And I have to give myself grace to keep moving forward. But I have to be hard on my efforts because all I think I can control is my effort. So I was driving in the field. I had like 2 leads left. And I have not caught them home. I was like, dude, they're 45 minutes apiece. I could just call it and go home. But what kept me going was like, okay, I can't control the results of that's happened for these past 2 days, but I can control if I give all I got. And if I go home, I'm going to feel like a loser knowing I didn't give everything I was supposed to do. I would rather just keep running until the clock is over and make sure I shoot all my shots I can, even if I miss it. So I can go home saying that I am a winner because I gave everything I got, and I can feel like a winner knowing I did everything I was supposed to do. So I ran it. I did not want to. I had to keep calling people. I was like, dude, this sucks. I don't have service. It's 45 minutes.
Might not be able to ride them because I don't have service.
I didn't catch them home.
Yep, there you go.
They even catch them home. Like the results, they even show up. But I remember I was driving home and I was like, dude, I feel like a winner only because I know for a fact that I gave every single moment of this single day all I got. Because I'm only out here for so long. Like everyone has the same 24 hours as I do. How come they're doing it and I'm not? At that very moment, I was like, well, it's not that. It's that I have to control my efforts at such a high level that the results will follow no matter what. But I have to give myself grace when the results don't show up, just because we're all human. Life is uncontrollable. So if I only focus on what I can control, then everything will fall into place. And that's what kept me really mentally insane. And then venting about it a lot, of course. But that's what pushed me forward. Was like, dude, that's what it takes, and that's what keeps going.
Yeah.
And I know you had a tough like beginning of the half, but then you wrote like a $250 double, something like that.
Yeah, on Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, $20 app on the very first lead, and then nothing for about a day and a half almost. Yeah, and then out of nowhere, this family, the intro was not good. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again, because they're like asking all these unqualifying questions. You're like, oh boy, this is not a good start. All this stuff, and they ended up being amazing, right? And so let's unpack a couple things you said there, right? So you said focus on what you can control. So sometimes we define our week going good or bad, or our career going good or bad based on what? Results, right? And so like if that's giving you energy, then great, focus on the results. But you're talking about how you focus on, hey, what can I control right now?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like I don't want to go and run those extra leads, right? Because, hey, man, I got all this stuff I need to do. And then you completed those things. Excellence is a commitment to completion. So you completed running your week, right? It didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but at least you can ride home and end your day knowing that you gave it everything you got.
Always.
And that is the key ingredient. Because if you're not feeling that confident in your business, I bet it's because you're not completing the things that you said you're gonna do in your business, right? We rarely start the week, if ever, saying I'm not going to complete my lead stack.
Yeah.
But isn't it interesting that we compromise towards the end of the week
and you deviate off the goal?
We deviate from the plan. So being process focused, right? Hey, what's the play right now? If you can just continually ask yourself over and over and over again, what's the play here? What's the play here? What's the play here? Right? So you're out in the field and it's not going your way. Okay, what's the play? What's the play? Hey,
keep it simple. It's the next door.
Yeah, the next door. Hey, so the client says this. Hey, what's the play? Right? Like you run into this type of situation. Hey, what's the play? You just keep asking yourself, hey, what's the play? What's the play? If you don't know what the play is, ask somebody. So be process focused more than results focused. I've very rarely had a season where I'm like, I'm going to write 250, 300, 350 in a year or more, whatever. And that gets me jacked up. What gets me jacked up is, hey, I'm going to go for 4 or 5 qualified presentations today, right? I'm going to get 12 to 15 this week. Right. And then as I'm checking those check boxes off, sale or no sale, right? That's where the dopamine hits. And I'm like, okay, I'm moving. I'm process focused versus result focused. And isn't it interesting how down in the dumps we can get when we are results focused and we're not getting the results?
Yeah, it's hard.
Very hard.
It's really hard to keep your mindset of like, no matter how much volume I put into here, success will follow.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't show up this week.
Yep.
I had the confidence going home. I still felt like a loser internally, but I was like, nah, I gave everything I got. That's just how the week turned out. I knew the answer was just to run more, but I couldn't. So it was like, okay, this is great momentum for next week.
Yeah.
If it doesn't show up this week, it's going to show up next week. And there's a good thing I heard from Alex Mosey from his book, The Money Model. And he says he doesn't expect a return on any of his like leads until 30 days later. He's like, because it's so hard if you measure your success off one day, that's not enough data point. But if you measure yourself based off a month to month basis, you can see the full average of it working out. And then that's that whole like averaging out. So like I knew I had a tough week, but I knew if I gave it all I got this week and I kill it next week, when I kill it next week and do the exact same effort, it's going to tenfold no matter what. And then my average just skyrockets and it makes me more consistent no matter what the results showed.
Yeah, which goes into zooming out, right? So we're in the moment. Everything's frustrating, right? Like you don't know if you want to do this. You want to slow down. You want to stop, right? You got to shift your perspective. You got to zoom out because what are we looking at? We're looking at the daily. We're looking at the now. We're looking at Leadly. right? Sometimes if you ever felt this is how you know if you're too zoomed in. You like talk to somebody and then they don't answer. Right? You know, ever had that happen? You leave somebody's house or you get off a presentation and they don't do it and you're like,
what's wrong with me?
Like if you ever have that internal or external voice, right? That means we're probably too zoomed in. So that's a good indication. That's a good whisper, right? It's poking you in the side saying, dude, zoom out. Like you weren't going to retire from that one lead, were you? Right? Was that $1,000 commission or $200 commission or $3,000 commission? Was that going to really make you? No, man. It's consistency over a period of time. So you got to zoom out. So that's an indication. That's a poke from the final expense guide saying, zoom out, dum-dum. Easier said than done, though. Easier said than done because you're like, I want it now. You know, especially in our business, we get so used to, a quick result, a quick paycheck and stuff like that. So it's kind of tough to balance that, ain't it?
Yeah, you get paid daily. You're just like, what happened to it if it stops?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?
And as I'm learning, if we're zooming too far in, we're looking at like our entire life savings on a stock market on a minute by minute basis, right? We're not a day trader, man. Day traders throughout the day are pretty emotionless. But why are we are so zoomed in and we're like, dude, I haven't written anything till 3. It's 3 p.m. on a Monday. I must suck at this. This must not work.
That's funny you bring that up.
Getting these crazy thought processes,
because I watch a lot of day traders, and there's this guy I always watch, and he posts his loss like he will lose like hundreds of thousands, and then he'll post his monthly. He's like, "But I'm still up though." He shows monthly, and he's up, and that's what keeps him going.
Yep.
Because it's like I know how it feels to be in the weeds of the work, and you're just like, dude, I just spent $1,000 on leads this week. And I haven't done a full presentation with someone. Everyone keeps telling me to screw off, this, that, the other. And you're like, dude, I'm just so negative. But then when you really look at, like, you guys got to keep the number in your face. Like, you have to know how much you're making, how much you're profiting. Because when I zoomed out, I was like, wait, dude, I took like a week, 2 weeks off for Greece, and I've killed it for the other week before. In this 1 week, I've realized with all kickbacks, renewals, and everything, I made like 20,000. This 1 week's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, like I couldn't think of it at the moment, but when I do my numbers at the very end of the week, I was just like, dude, like it's actually feels such a gratitude. It's such a gratitude feeling of like, dude, last year this would have killed me, but like how much I've gone, this can't kill me because how much I've done. There's too much proof in the pudding for me to just crumble right then and there.
Exactly. Yeah, I love it. That will help tremendously. Just zoom out. If you feel like you're too zoomed in, zoom out, right? Who am I working for, right? Am I working for my future family, my current family, right? My teammates, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, find that person that you're working for. Zoom out. Look at your monthly, right? One thing you had said there, here's a great tactic as well, is getting grounded in the numbers, man. Getting grounded in the numbers. Again, like you have a profit per lead. Like you make X amount of dollars per lead that you call. You make X amount of dollars per lead that you knock on the door. And so let's not forget that, because if we're too zoomed in, we start thinking about, oh my God, I'm in the hole this week. Right? Or if we too zoomed in, we're like, I'm never going to get out of this, or whatever other negative emotions that we all get involved with. So zoom out. That's a huge one. Get lost in your numbers, right? Go to the data. I did some numbers the other day, right before I went to bed. It wasn't even in my plan. And I was like, man, I'm doing better than I thought. And like, dude, there was this relief, immediate relief, right? Because we get lost in these thoughts that just are not true. As Andrew Elliott says, hey, our mind is not our friend, especially in the negative when we're not very positive emotionally.
It's designed to keep you safe. It's designed to keep you comfortable. That's why it's harder for you to get out of bed.
Yeah.
That's why you have fear when you're trying to like do something that feels unfamiliar.
Yep.
It's so crazy. So you just can't listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. So I love it. What's another one? Venting. You talked about venting.
Yeah, actually, you talked about being grounded in the numbers. So my goal every time I'm in the field or when I feel myself getting angry is to be grounded enough where I can feel all the emotions and let it go through me without being ruled by it. Right? Because I found that with a lot of people I have talked to, have helped coached and everything like that, is that they have so much emotion bundled up. So when you get hit by one thing after another and it just feels like this big old ball is growing, then you sit down with Miss Jones and she's like, I'm good. She just throws her need out of the window. You feel like you're going to blow up. So the whole point of that is that you need to constantly have your emotions running through you, because emotion is energy in motion. And when you allow it to bundle up in your soul, then you just like, it's just growing bigger, 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 and then you blow up like a bomb. But that's not the point. So it's like you have to figure out a way how to fully regulate your whole emotions by going through your whole body and releasing it. Then fill up with good information. So like I text Lan, I think on the way home. That sounds bad. I called Lan on the way home after I feel like a loser. And I just told her, like, hey, I just need to express these emotions and I'm going to feel 10 times better. It's like, I feel like a loser. I was like, I feel like I'm too good at this to have the results I have. I was like, I have this coming up. I should have got it done in this short period of time, but I didn't. But then when I say it out loud or you write in like a pen and paper, you're just like, this kind of sounds silly. Because then when you look at the numbers, you actually ground down your whole numbers. And when you express those emotions, you're like, okay, I feel 10 times better of who I am and what I'm doing. And now I can now move forward on like what I need to do next. Because after I didn't feel like better.
Keep going.
I felt like a bitch, right? I was just like, okay, this sounds pretty silly. And now I can like my clarity of me mentally fully locked into what I had to do next. I was like, okay, that just means this was great for this now. And now I can move forward. Because if I just had that emotion the whole time, I would have felt like a loser moving. I would have felt like a loser building the bed. I would have felt like a loser this whole week. And that just lingers into your week. And then that's how things just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So just be so grounded in your emotions that you're never ruled by them. Just regulate it better. And then you're going to feel 10 times better with your business, with your life, inside and out. And you're just going to have that positive energy. Everyone calls Pat positive Pat all the time. And that your success of that realm is going to spread to everyone else. So just that's really what keeps my mind sane.
Yeah. Venting. Be careful on venting to your spouse, right?
Yeah.
Make sure it's the right time.
Don't bring
and place.
business home. I just needed that for my life.
Yeah,
I just felt like a loser.
Yeah. Hey, baby, give me 60 seconds and let me tell you about all this. And then we'll be good. Put it to bed. So venting, you can vent to teammates. We call it pooping up. You only poop up. Basically, you only poop up to your upline, right? Meaning like, hey, if you got a bunch of new guys, that would not be the place where you're like, hey man, this is all the shitty things that I'm experiencing and I'm thinking right now.
Because they'll find it.
Do not tell that to a new guy, right? But you tell that to your experienced manager or president, or just go up the food chain, find somebody to vent to and be like, hey man, I need to vent real quick, right? I remember my upline is Corden Cassidy, and I remember yelling at him many, many times when I didn't know what was going on in my own business, in my own head. I was just frustrated and I'll get out. I'll be like, listen to this lady, right? She did this, this, and this. This is what she said, and then she didn't do this. And then this thing, other two, and then this, and this, and this. I can get pretty vulgar on the way that I was talking about some of our clients, but like, you got to get it out. I was not thinking, you don't want to harness those thoughts, right? Because you got to respect our clients at all times, right? And you got to think positively about our clients too. However, this did help. Is I would just vent to one person, my manager. I'd be like, this is the shitty emotions I'm feeling right now. And I'm like, for a minute or two. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to run another lead. See ya, right?
And you just hang up and you go.
Yep, that's helpful. It's very helpful. Or you can talk it out, what have you. So venting is great. Venting is great. What else in the moment? So, we're extremely frustrated. We just feel like nothing is going our way. It doesn't seem like there's any light at the end of the tunnel. I've told people before, he's like, hey man, you just got to see the light at the tunnel. And I'm like, well, what if I don't see any light at the end? I don't even see the light. I don't see how somebody would buy from me. I don't see how I get out of this financial situation. I don't see how I could be the guy that accomplishes the goals that I keep writing down. Like, I feel like a freaking liar to myself.
Like an imposter.
An imposter. Yeah, man. It's like, man, I don't even want that goal anymore. We start giving up on our goals when we get in this negative vibration. So how do you get out of that, right? In the moment. Next episode is going to be on how to prevent these from happening less often and less is long, not as long. So what else?
I feel like you just have to figure out what's fully like upsetting you. What's getting your emotions like all screwed up.
Identify
what's messing up your emotions. And then second, figure out why that's important. Because I can think about a time where I was actually with me and Pierre. We're riding
Dr.
together
Brahms.
one time. Dr. Brahms, he didn't have a car. I was just helping him go through the trenches, and I was just an emotional wreck. Like, it was so bad. I had a job like posting on my phone. First thing you open the Safari, and Pierre's like,
oh, he's looking on Indeed, by the way.
Indeed. And Pierre's
for
like,
him,
yeah,
changing
for me.
jobs as he's training the guy, getting this guy's attitude right. He's over here looking for jobs for himself.
And
Go on.
Pierre's like, you can't leave. There's no way. He's like, is that for you? I was like, we're sitting at Brahms, and he just like looked over. He goes, shut up. No, you wouldn't. And I just told him, I just vented. I was like, look, I'm tired of being a manager. I'm tired of being more responsible more than myself. The stress is too much. I'm not getting paid for it. Everyone's kind of dying. I feel like an imposter for having such great success, and my guys kind of feel like they went up and down. And I didn't know how to control that anymore. I was like, I knew the answer, but it wasn't working. Because when it comes to other people's self-development, it takes time for that to actually develop. Ironically, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, screw this, dude. I can go be a salesperson somewhere else and just worry about my own things. And Pierre, dude, it was so awesome. I vented for like 2 hours. It didn't make me feel better. And he goes, so why, what's so important about their success? Why does that make you like, why does it matter to you? And then I just talked for like 30 minutes. I don't even think he meant to do that, but he just was so curious. He's like, well, then why is it so important to you? I talked to him for like 30 minutes.
What'd you find out?
That there's nothing more rewarding than guys who fully trust you with their life. And that they trust you so much that they know you can give them the answer. And they're looking for it constantly. You just have to keep showing them the answer and keep walking them, keep guiding them through life to get them to where they want to be.
Well, let's unpack that real quick. Why was it so devastating? Because you're like, screw this.
Because they weren't getting the results I knew they were supposed to get.
Bingo.
It crushed me. It felt like I was going backwards because I was hitting my goals and they weren't.
Did you feel responsible?
All the time.
Did you feel like an ineffective leader?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was
100%.
Yeah,
that happens. If you're a manager, if you're a good manager, you take full responsibility for your people's results. Right. And I've been told, hey, like I take full responsibility for y'all's bank accounts.
Yes, dude. That was a huge shock to me.
You know, that goes against the grain. People are like, dude, you're not responsible for their bank accounts. I'm like, I understand, but I am. So I'm going to be.
And we're going to take charge of it together.
Yeah. And that's tough. That'll screw with your emotional control, especially in the moment. Right. And so you shifted your perspective. This might help managers this has helped in several different realms for me. From Mike Chu, he says, we think that growth has to look a certain way. You know, it's like Moody's development and Robert's development. We think it's supposed to be symbiotic and parallel to yours, right? And it's just not the case, right? So everybody's got their own learning curve, right? And their own ways to learn their own lessons throughout the business, right? Because you got money management, you got emotional control inside and outside the field, you got straight commission, right? You got a brand new job, you got to talk to frustrating people, you're going to talk to amazing people, right? And you got different things, you got underwritings, you got things that come back, you got things that are out of your control. Maybe it's contracting, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's your licensing. You know, there's a bunch of different things that come at us. And so we think that growth has to look a certain way. And so I love that you bring that up, because if you're a manager, like, look, man, you're not solo anymore. And there's a ton of stuff a lot of more weight that's put on you. And, but your capacity is growing. For any managers out there, if you're in the weeds right now and you got a frustrating, teammate on your team that's not getting the results that you think they should, or, is making mistakes. Hey man, like, we hear you, we feel you, we're on your side. Like that's tough, because we don't have much control over that, although we accept complete responsibility and control. So there's a weird conflict there.
It was so weird because like you were saying, like screw the goal. I can't see the light in the tunnel. I'm so goal oriented. One of the things I actually wrote down was be so fixated on your goal that nothing slows you down. And the biggest thing that mentally slowed me down was like, dude, I feel like I'm going backwards to my goal. So now it feels impossible to achieve.
Yeah.
And it was just such a big headache on me on a constant basis. My HRV, what does HRV stand for? Heart
rate variability.
Yeah, that thing's
a measurement on the Whoop.
Yeah, on the Whoop. Basically, that thing's to the ground.
Your recovery at night, basically.
Yeah, that thing screwed me up. But however, the whole point of that is that when you do figure out why that's important, it was the first step that brought me back to my goal, that brought me back to the light. It wasn't immediate, but it started pushing me, and it got me through that day. Because no matter what, I was like, dude, I'm still right business. I was so mad. I was pissed off at every single door. But we wrote like 5 apps. It was so funny. Yeah, we wrote like 300, and I was still pissed. But then just after that talk, my mental was just there for the next day and the next day, and then it slowly just started building.
There we go. I love it. So target focus. One way, if you're in the moment, is to be target focused, right? What is your target? Right. And I would zoom out as much as you can, but sometimes you have to, and this kind of goes against what we just said on zooming in, but sometimes on a target basis, you have to be very zoomed in. It's like, what is my target to be successful today? It's 3:00 and it's not going your way today. Okay, great. I've got a few more hours to finish the day. Kind of like you were talking about to finish your week. What's going to make me proud to finish today? So what is your target? Is it a weekly target? Is it a monthly target? Is it a daily target? And do these based on metrics that you have a respectable amount of control, right? So if it's like, hey, I'm gonna have 2 more qualified presentations where they're healthy enough to qualify, they got a bank account, blah, blah, blah. And so what is your target? Be target focused, and that'll get you out of the muck a lot of times. So we're going over several different things that can help you get out of this in the moment, right? Notice how he said he vented and it didn't work, right? So some of these will work for you in the moment and some of them won't. The thing is what's going to work for you right now. So start testing these things out, list them out, right? I used to have a long, well, I still do, is have a list. I used to have it like present on my, in my office or in my car. And it's like the things that help me get in a better headspace, like not in a vibrant headspace. You know what I mean? Like if you're down in the dumps, like you're just trying to get into a better headspace. That's the key, is to get into a better headspace. And your job is to test things out and to see what sticks. Sometimes it sticks for a lead. One lead, right? Is like, I'm going to fight today for my fiance. I talked to a teammate about this and he laughed because he related. I'm like, I'm going to fight for Geneva today. Right. And then it lasts one lead. And I'm like, Geneva, it's fine. It won't matter. Right. But then I'm like, hey, I'm going to fight for my teammates. Right. And then that lasts all day. Right. Or vice versa. I'm like, hey, I'm going to fight for my teammates. And then one lead goes by and I'm like, dude, I'm still pissed. All right, screw that goal. I'm going to fight for Geneva. And then it lasts a week. I picture her like, dude, she doesn't want me to be mopey dopey. She wants me to be vibing at all times. Right. Doesn't your significant other want you to be vibing at all times? Absolutely. Doesn't the person that cares about you most, whether it's your parents or your brother or your sister or your spouse or your kids, don't they want you to be vibing, right? And so see what sticks, see who sticks in the forefront of your mind of who you're fighting for, right? So that's a big one, is who are you fighting for right now? Because isn't it interesting that we typically, at least for me, maybe I'm an alien, maybe I'm not, but like I fight for other people way harder, longer, and for a longer period of time than I do for myself. Right? If it's a money target or production target or a promotion target or this, it's like, no. Like what is this going to do for other people around me?
I agree with that.
And so that's a good tactic, because sometimes we're selfish in our goals.
And it's sometimes you're like, for me, I'm not really focused. Sometimes it's hard for me to focus on, like, let's say I'm doing this for Robert. I don't really think about that. But what I do think is like me being able to go to my kids' like a basketball game when I'm 30. So it's like, I know if I just go through the muck right now, then I'm going to have that ability to even do it. Because there's nothing more I don't want to do is, well, I love my parents. They gave me a very blessed life, but they never show up for a lot of things because they work so hard to keep up with our lifestyle. Sure. Because, they did what most people do, just kind of party when they're young and then like try to make it up later in life after they had kids. So it's like, okay, I'm very blessed to not have kids yet. For this period of my season of my life. So I'm just going to grind out. So when I am 30 and my kids are going to play basketball or land needs something from me, I'm able to just go, let's do it. We'll get it done.
Yep.
And that's what keeps me so strong in the field now.
Make it about somebody else, man. Make it about somebody else. Make it about somebody else who doesn't exist. Because do you have kids right now?
No.
They don't even exist, man. So, but like make it about Jorts is like, hey man, I want my wife and my kids. And this was big for me for probably the first 5 years in the business. I want my wife to not be able to work, and I want to be able to make every ball game. Right. And so, like, who are you fighting for, and see what sticks? What are you fighting for, and see what sticks? Get creative. Use your imagination. Take a second and think about, hey man, who am I fighting for right now? Like, picture your kids, right? Picture the basketball game. Picture you throwing your fist in the stands, like, oh, come on, ref, like, da da da, like my son got fouled right there. You know, picture that stuff, man, and that will help, right? And so see what sticks for you, and keep being creative. Because what the problem is that we, think about our spouse, and then it doesn't work for a long time, and you're like, oh man, and then you go back in the dumps. It's like keep trying new things that and ideas and see what sticks, that gets you motivated. It could be for your dog, right? Who knows, right? So see what sticks. Fight for somebody and see what sticks. So obviously, you're in the moment. Keep going is a key ingredient. Key ingredient. The only time I suggest you don't keep going is if you immediately do something positive to change your state.
I believe in that 100%.
That would be working out or going for a run.
I tell Moody that all the time. Depression can't hit a moving target. You just cannot stay still. Just start moving. I was like, there's nothing worse than stagnant water. Yeah. So you cannot be stagnant with yourself. Just keep moving, and eventually you're going to find the current. You can find a river. You can find the ocean where you can prosper at. You can be more in abundance of whatever your problem you're facing. You just ask God, keep moving. Like Robert I think he had a bad day last week. He texted me. We ended up just calling. I was like, what are you doing? Are you done knocking? He's like, yeah, I'm done. Okay, just go to the gym. Because I know for a fact, if you don't go to the gym, you're going to go to dinner with the team. Someone's going to say something. It's going to make you so mad. It's going to ruin your whole day. And then you're not going to want to work tomorrow. Go to the gym, release all that anger, get grounded what's going on, and we can reevaluate what you need to do tomorrow. And that's what he did. Yeah. We had he had to do something at AM. I said, put it on your calendar, and we're going to talk after. And he ended up crushing it for the rest of the week.
Yeah. It's a great strategy. Yeah. And did you want to go to the gym at that time? Not really. Yeah. Yeah. Didn't give a shit at the time. Right. Yeah. And so was it on your plan? Was it in your plan to go to the gym at that point? Okay, great. So you added something immediately in. I love that. So, but keep going. Right. I used to say this mantra to myself all the time, like hundreds of times, thousands of times, I'm sure over the years. It's like, hey, most of my problems go away if I just run more leads. Hey, most of my problems go away if I just run more leads. Not all my problems, but most of my problems go away if I just run more leads. Right. Because it was at least for me, like production was almost, and premium was almost like a self-worth thing. And so eventually you're going to hit that seam. Right. Because there's, we're in a ebbs and flows business. And if you're ebbing and it's not flowing, you've got to get through the ebbs as quickly as possible. Right. And that, we talk about on this podcast a lot, but keep moving forward, keep trying to keep positively moving forward. What idea can you lock into that's going to get your keister in gear to keep going, right? To finish your hour, to finish your day, right? To finish this lead stack, to finish this area, to finish the state, to finish the region, right? To finish your target, whether it's a presentation or just a time target. Hey man, I'm just going to roll through 7, because I'm telling you, if you finish and you roll through 7 and you can nux yourself and pat yourself on the back and say, hey man, I finished my day. That's how you build confidence versus, hey man, it's 6:35. Dude, like, I don't want to waste these leads with my bad attitude, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather you torch those leads for the next 25 minutes and tell yourself that you gave it your all to finish your day in the time that you already allotted to finish your day or finish your week. So that is huge. So keep going. Easier said than done sometimes, right? And so you got to keep figuring out these things that work for you from different times. Like this thing may work for you in this season, and then you try this thing later on and it doesn't work, right? It's like, oh man, I tried that one thing, but it's not, I'm not emotionally connected to it. So figure out what works for you and see what sticks. And what you're actually doing is you're developing your success formula, right? You're developing your emotional control formula. It's like, hey man, these are the 6 things that I typically do when I get back on track, right? A big one is inputs Focus on your inputs. What are you listening to on a consistent basis? Right? Are you on TikTok and Instagram and these other platforms more than, productive podcasts or different audio or YouTube or something like that that's feeding your mind? Focus on your inputs, because I promise you that has way more to do than on what we get on our results and our emotional control than we give it credit for. 100% of teammates. Roger that. 100% of teammates that have said they've deleted their social media. You remember what they said? I made more money. I made more money when I deleted my social media. That is a 100% across the board. Every teammate that's done it, that has been the case. They call it the E to E ratio, the education to entertainment ratio. So focus on your inputs, and I guarantee you in the moment that will help, right? So because you're looking for that. If you're actually on your search and you're actually listening to podcasts, hey, where's the gold? What's going to help me in this season? What do I need to hear right now? Then you'll find it. You'll find it. You just got to be ready for it. And that means listening. So focus on inputs. Let's wrap this up here, man. Another one in the moment is going into zooming out is focus on your future self. Mm-hmm. You talked about focus on your kids. Don't even have kids, right? Focus on your future self. Zoom out to 2 years down the road, 1 year down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. How do you want to, if you're going to look back and you're going to say, how did I handle that season? How did I operate during that season? How did I work during that season? How did I fight during that season? Right? And what am I setting myself up to if you're under 25, for my 25-year-old self, if you're under 30, for my 30-year-old self, if you're under 35, for my 35-year-old self, and 40 and 45 and 50. So focus on your future self. Chase Hughes says, fall in love with your future self. So how does that apply? You're in the weeds. Everything sucks. When has that worked for you? And you talked about it with the kids thing, and maybe we can stick on there, but
no, it really works so for me, I'm really goal oriented, and I have goals that I want to hit at a short period of time because I really think time is irrelevant. So I have to think on a consistent basis of how does that person need to act? What is he doing? Who is that person who has those things? So I have to start implementing that into myself. And every 6 months, I realized how dumb I was 6 months ago based off past stuff. Mm-hmm. But then that's just the stuff you have to learn from. The mistakes, going through the actual muck, doing the groundwork, and being just you, and then figuring out who you need to be later in life. Because if you start implementing those now, everything right now gets a little easier because you start to realize what you're doing, gain door killed, you gain people to hang up on you. You just started to realize it's all worth it because it's going to make me a better person for me to be that person who has the goal that I want, to be able to go to my kids' games, to be able to drop stuff, to be there with my wife, to really do everything that I plan to have. But for me to have that first, I got to be that person just to even get close to it. So that's something that's always keep me back. That's always the back of my mind to make sure that we can keep moving forward in the little things, in the tough moments. Because it's okay, am I acting like future self? I have an alarm that goes off every 90 minutes, and it says, act like the man you said you'd become. Because I have a hard time with my emotion, whatever it's called.
Emotional control?
Emotional control. I actually freak out consistently.
Me too.
One of my biggest critiques from the team was that I need to control my emotions more. So it's okay, who is that person later in life that has the goals I want? It's this, it's that. So I have a reminder every 90 minutes. It says, act like the man you said you'll become. And it helps me stay locked into that future self. So I know for a fact I will become him, and I will become him 10 times quicker than I actually set to be.
So the champion that you want to become, how does he operate right now? Right? How does he operate when the poop is hitting the fan? Right? And that gets you out of it sometimes. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah. So envision your future self, maybe your future self even talking to you, or hey man, how am I setting my future self up? Okay. Which goes into doing the math, right? I got a couple more and we'll take this for a landing here, is focus on, just do the math real quick on how you're increasing your income, right? So in the final expense realm, we have naturally increasing incomes. Mm-hmm. Have you ever done the math on how your income is increasing? Right? So if you're, let's do a quick math here. So if you're getting a 5%, if you're chasing a promotion and you're getting a 5% increase in your commission, and you write let's just say $100,000 a year, just for easy math, right? Or we'll do 200 because that's a decent year. So payable business, right? 5% more, right? Let's add it to 240 because then we'll take out chargeback. So if somebody said 240, 20%'s falling off straight up just because of chargebacks, that puts you at 200,000, right? And a 5% increase, right, depending on where your contract level at, is going to be a $10,000 increase right off the rip. Okay, so there's 10,000. Okay, and then we go to our kickbacks. Okay, kickbacks in our language, it's your 10, 11, and 12s, right? That's your back end money. Your big back end money when you first start, right? So in 10 months, 11 months, and 12 months, and every month after, you're going to have 5% more, right? Now, I like thinking about this because for every $100 app, you're going to be on the kickbacks, you're going to be getting $5 more every month. Right. Well, that's not going to buy that energy. It'll buy that energy drink. Right. But that's nothing to shake a stick at. But it is. Why? Because it compounds. Right. And the main thing for me is like, I know for sure I'm increasing my income in the future. So, and you should know for sure you're increasing your income in the future. Right. So you got your kickbacks. And then the other thing is you got your renewal rate. Okay. Your renewals are always working. Okay. I'm 11th year in the business and renewals are nice, baby. Renewals are nice and they only go up if you're full time. I'll say that again. All your back end money only goes up if and only if you're full time, right? If and only if you're listening to the Xco Time podcast, if and only if you're pressing yourself on a weekly basis. So do the math. Do the math on how you're increasing your income today. Don't get because what happens, why are we pissed off in the moment is because we're thinking about this. It's not working for me. The future's not going to be better. The now's not getting better. It seems like it's getting harder. It's not worth it, stuff like that. So do the math on how you're increasing your income right now. If you don't know how to do the math, go to your manager and say, hey man, how am I increasing my income today? How can I increase my income, right? What's cooking in the background of the natural order of how our industry works is how is my income increasing right now? Do the math. And especially if you're hitting promotions, on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, definitely every 6 months or every 12 months, your income is increasing, right? And so that really gets me going on like what I do next matters. What I do next matters. What I do this week is I'm gonna thank myself later. And I promise you absolutely will. Every time I've done the math, right? Every time I've done the math, which has been many, many times, I feel better. I'm like, oh my God, man, I am a little bit more on track than I thought, or a lot more on track than I thought. Things are going to get better, right? Now, the only problem is you don't increase your spending as your income goes up as well. But do the math and see what's going on with the increase of your income. And I promise you it'll help you in the moment. Because really we get in that thought process of like, today doesn't matter. This next lead doesn't matter. What I do today doesn't matter. And then we go to the pool, right? Or whatever. We throw in the towel. And so anything on that's coming to the forefront of your mind on doing the math on the increase of your income. Because you talked about 6 months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago. Yeah, riches love speed, but wealth loves time. And when you allow time to actually compound what you're doing, you start to realize that whatever I can do to make tomorrow easier is the goal to make sure everything compounds later in your life, right? So like what a really cool example is that like I think I'm like 22 months in the business now. And it's like that kickback season, it's just off one company. I got like 2,500. But if you told me that like right before I started, I was like, dude, no way am I making $2,500. Mailbox money per month. But then it starts to realize like every single moment I did that when I didn't want to keep going, but I did. Every time I wanted to leave, but I stayed, it made that moment worth it. Because what it did was like I had to put a huge deposit on their new house. And I usually like to save those kickbacks and like to let it compound. But it just worked out. I didn't use that money for it, but it made me feel 10 times better emotionally. Because I'm working with my relationship with money. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm still in abundance of money that I do work for and I've already worked for. So it made everything 10 times better emotionally for me to keep going. And it was easy for me to be like, dude, this, like, I just got screwed last week. I just spent $1,000 on myself on my own lead bill. I just paid $2,500 for this house, and I'm buying furniture and this and that and the other. Everything's stacking up, dude. My whole world is crashing. And then just because Dylan decided to work a year ago, he's like, Here's $2,500.
Thanks, old Dylan.
Thanks, old
Thanks,
Dylan.
bro.
And it's like, dude, I forget that sometimes.
Yes.
And I gave everything I got last week, and now I can't wait to hit the ground running Monday. I'm going to crush it. That's just how my mental is right now.
There we go. Dude, the back end money of our business is like little rocket boosters. If anybody ever played the old Mario Kart where you hit the little booster with the arrows, right? And it's coming. Once your back end starts, it doesn't stop. One last thing on increasing income, doing the math. I did this with Moody the other day because hey, he was having a tough time with the in the moment emotional control, even though a top 10 agent wrote a bunch of business last year and this year, it still happens to all of us. And I was like, let's do some math, baby, right? Tactic number 8 from It's Go Time. Do the math on how your income is increasing, especially the back end and the front end. Front end's easy. That's what we focus on, but focus on the back end and watch what happens to your emotional control. And what we found is that his back end is going up by like 130% than it was last year. And his kickbacks have gone up, mailbox money went up like, I forgot what it was. It was like 50 and 150%. So this is how you do it. Is you go back this time last year. So this is beginning of May 2026. Go back last year and do the math on how much mailbox money that you got deposited in January, in February, in March, and in April. Okay, that's in 2025. Then you zoom back and you say, you zoom forward, and then you do the same math. What was my back end money in January, February, March, and April of this year? And just do the math on how much that increased. So let's just say you were getting $500 a month in January. Well, this January, you got $900. Great. That's what is that? That's an 80% increase. Okay. And so you want to, I love percentage increases, right? So do investors, by the way. And so check what percentage increase things are going up, right? Think about corporate America. How much somebody has to work at a 9 to 5 to get a 10, 15, or 20% salary increase? It almost doesn't happen.
It's usually like 5,
right? And can they do that consistently? Well, we're in a perfect position in our industry to be able to increase our income by 20 to 50 to 100% or more every year for our first 4 years, right? If not longer too. Right. It's kind of tough once you get into the 300, 400 range to start doubling again. But at the same time, when you start looking at the percentage increases, you're like, okay, yeah, we are moving forward. So when you're in the muck, when you're in the moment and you want to blow your brains out and you want to drive into a tree or you want to bang the phone over your head till it breaks, if you're calling over the phone, get grounded in the numbers, right? We've gone over a bunch of stuff. The last thing, second to last thing is keep the client at the forefront of your mind. The client that's waiting on you. There are hundreds of thousands of people out there right now thinking about doing your life insurance right now. And you have to be at the intersection of preparation and attitude to be able to meet them there. Right. And so I used to do this all the time. I would be pointing down the road because we're road warriors. And I say, hey, man, this next lead, this next family, Jessica and Roger, they deserve for me to show up as the highest version of myself. They don't need me to be showing up all mopey dopey because of this pain in the ass teammate. They don't need me to be showing up all mopey dopey because that underwriting from last week didn't come through, right? They deserve me to show up as the highest version of myself, right? Because they deserve that. And so how can you make it about the client, right? So that would help in the moment to shift my focus is they need me to show up just as a higher version of myself. Maybe not the highest, because that can be tough to flip it in a millisecond, but you can definitely be in a better attitude. So they deserve it. So keep the client at the forefront of your mind. Have you done that before?
Yeah, I usually, when I get out of the car, I usually say, bless you, bless you, Miss Jones.
That's a great way to do it.
That way, I'm just focused on blessing people. Like
2 things happen there is 1, you're sending out good energy. Like you're looking at your next lead and you're like, bless you, Virginia, bless you, Virginia, bless you. Lord bless Virginia, right? It's great energy. It's great energy. And then the other thing is you start remembering their name, right? And then so you start picturing in your mind, whether you want to do it or not, of like, you're actually going to be talking to Virginia, right? Because what's the most frustrating part is you're not talking to people. That's really it. So keeping the client at your forefront of your mind. And the last thing is you need to slow down sometimes to speed up. We had an example. We had two teammates at the exact same time, called me at the exact same time. We connected them up on a 3-way call. And we're all in this little pity party. It's not going our way. It's Tuesday afternoon. I think we collectively had written 2 apps by then out of 3 people. That's not good. And then they got off the call and they started doing breathing exercises. Right. And as 2 leads later, Tanner wrote, a house.
Oh, his last house on Tuesday. Yeah.
On Tuesday. Yeah. And I think it was a $50 payable app, good finish to the day. But immediately, he saw a result. Now, I'm not saying you do breath work and kumbaya and then all of a sudden, everyone's going to be nice to you, but it helps, right? So sometimes we have to slow down, right? Because I know for me, sometimes I'm just like, go, 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 go. And I'm just like crawling to the next lead or whatever. It's like, man, sometimes we just need to take a second. Take a second. We call it regulation. They call it regulation, nervous system regulation. Why are we in a bad emotional state? Because we're not regulated, man. We're pissed off. And so sometimes you need to do some breath work, right? An easy way to calm the nervous system is that your exhale always in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. And the inhale is about 4 seconds, right? And then your exhale is about 6. So as long as your exhale is longer than your inhale, your nervous system is calming itself down. Okay. What happens when we watch TV, on TikTok, and in stressful situations? Our breathing gets very, 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 very shallow, right? And so that doesn't help. So big, deep breaths in through the nose and exhale out for 6 seconds. That calms the nervous system. Sometimes we need to slow down in order to speed up. How have you seen that show up in your business? And let's wrap it up here, D-Win.
Yeah, it shows up pretty often. What I think about is that, why are you dehydrated? It's because you're not drinking water. It's the same thing when it comes to why you have so much anxiety. It's because, first we're going to talk about later, just preparation. I always think you're so stressed because you didn't prep that much. So if you prep, then you have no reason to be stressed because you know you can give everything you got. But then second, it's when you're breathing, you're regulating your emotions. You're basically saying I'm hydrating my body for this game, this ball game I'm about to play. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with this. It's I'm regulating my emotions. I'm calming down my nervous system for this mental battle I'm about to do for the next week to, one, either just crush it or get my butt kicked. Either or is fine, as long as I know I'm doing everything I can to get me through the week. Mm-hmm. And if I do that and I breathe throughout daily, a cool thing, like you mentioned, now that it just popped in my head, me and this old teammate, what we used to do, which I should start doing, is before we go run leads, before we start the day, we sit in the car, play calming music, close our eyes, focus on breathing, and start envisioning the future. And start thinking about what that looks like. Paint out the house, like you said earlier, paint out you at the ball game. What I like to do is paint out the car I'm in with laying on the right side of me with my kids. I always start with me in the pool, with me holding my son. It's so funny.
Awesome.
It's so weird. I can see the whole house so vividly, what we're doing. And I do that for maybe a minute to 5 minutes every single day. And it preps my brain to, no matter what happens, that's what I'm building towards. And that's what's going to keep me going forward.
It's extremely tough to be creative and positive when we got all this pressure. Sometimes we need to slow down to speed up. Isn't it interesting when we slow down that better ideas tend to occupy our mind? And so for those who needed to hear it, sometimes because we're in a grinder industry, man, we're grinding, it's fast paced, go, 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 go all the time, and sometimes we don't take time for ourselves. Especially if you're a leader or a parent, or just you want to be a leader or a great teammate or just a great, producer, man, think about this is how much time am I really giving myself to slow down, right? To appreciate, to re-envision where I'm going and just slow down and what is real? What is real right now? Because really what goes on in between our ears is man, we just go into a psychosis of things that are just not real. No one will ever buy from me again. False, right? This business is not made for me. False. I don't think I can ever be a good leader. I don't care who you are. False. I can never produce a lot. False. I'll never get out of this financial situation. False. I'm ugly. False, right? I'm too skinny. False. Everything that that's negative that goes through our mind, you can find evidence of why it's true, but you can also find evidence of why it's not true. So by slowing down, Give yourself the grace to take a second, right? If you take 6 minutes, you do 6 minutes of that cadence, right? It's like 30 breaths. 6 minutes will genuinely calm your nervous system down, right? A lot of times it's noticeable for me. Sometimes it's not, but at least in the moment, I'm giving myself the grace. So sometimes as leaders and sometimes as salespeople, as producers, we have to slow down to speed up and watch what happens to your business and life when you become consistent at this. So we'll talk about this a little bit more in preparation on the next episode. But as always, public service announcement, it's important to be kind, right? We need more neighborly people out there. Neighborliness is, hey, how you doing? Right? Hold the door for people, pick up trash if it's convenient, right? Right there. Pick up one piece of trash, be kind in traffic, be kind to your clients, because you can hold your clients accountable and still be kind and respectful, right? And so there's a little PSA. We love you guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Let us know. We've got a questionnaire in the bottom there. Let us know where you're at in your business. What questions do you have? Because we're going to be doing pretty consistent Q&As on this. So submit your questions. We can keep you anonymous if you'd like. And and don't forget, what time is it?
It's go time.
It's go time, baby. Let's roll.
Let's do it.